When you hold this robot's hand, you can actually feel warmth, just like a human. But it isn't human. If you look at its face, it will look right back into your eyes. If you smile, it will smile back. It listens to you carefully, thinks about what it hears, and responds like a person. Its name? Let me introduce you. This is Moya. In this video, we're going to explore the design philosophy behind Moya, the technical details that make it unique, and how it came to be. Before we begin with this $173,000 humanoid robot, I have one small favor to ask. Subscribe to the channel. If you're ready, let's get started. Behind this robot is a Shanghai-based startup called DroidUp, also known as Joyi Robotics. The company was founded in 2021 by Li Qingdu, a professor and researcher at Shanghai University. He brings more than 20 years of experience in humanoid robotics research. In January 2026, DroidUp introduced Moya to the world alongside the opening of its new headquarters. The launch quickly attracted global attention. Videos that went viral across Chinese social media soon appeared in international technology outlets such as Fox News, BGR, and New Atlas. But the reaction was divided. Some people were fascinated, while others felt uncomfortable. It triggered that instinctive unease that comes from seeing something that looks so human, yet isn't quite human. And that split reaction perfectly captures the most interesting thing about Moya, its design philosophy. Can people truly form a connection with a robot? That question is what led to the creation of Moya. We've become accustomed to humanoid robots looking cold and mechanical, metal surfaces, rigid movements, and expressionless faces. DroidUp calls this the steel image, and Moya was designed as the complete opposite. Their philosophy is simple. If a robot is going to work alongside people for long periods of time, in hospitals, schools, or shopping centers, it shouldn't feel cold or intimidating. It should feel warm and approachable. That's why every detail of Moya was built around this idea. Heated skin, facial expressions with 25 degrees of freedom, and cameras hidden behind its eyes all serve a single purpose: convincing the human brain that this is something familiar, something safe. From a design perspective, the goal isn't to create a machine that people glance at and walk past with indifference. The goal is to create someone who feels friendly enough that you'd want to say, "Hi, how are you?" So what technology makes Moya feel this realistic? Looking at Moya's physical specifications, it stands about 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs roughly 71 pounds. In other words, it's close to the size of an average human. Its walking speed is around 2 miles per hour, or about 2.7 feet per second. DroidUp claims that its walking pattern is 92% human-like. But the real story is its face. Moya has 25 degrees of freedom in its facial system, allowing it to replicate 25 different muscle movements. Thanks to cameras hidden behind its eyes, it can track you and even mirror subtle facial expressions. Beneath its skin are heating layers that keep its surface temperature between 90 and 97 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning that when you hold its hand, it actually feels warm. Under the silicone skin are soft filler layers designed to mimic the feel of real human tissue. As for its skeletal system, Moya is built on DroidUp's earlier Walker 3 platform. That name might sound familiar. The Walker 2 earned a bronze medal among humanoid robots at the 2025 Beijing Half Marathon. So Moya's movement system wasn't built from scratch. It comes from a platform that has already proven itself. But all of that leads to the obvious question: how much does this robot actually cost? Let me give you a clear answer. Exactly $173,000. The reason it costs this much comes down to one thing: a massive market gap. DroidUp realized that across OECD countries, there are only about 5 care workers for every 100 people over the age of 65, and that number hasn't changed for a decade. On the supply side, there is a shortage of millions of caregivers worldwide. This gap is creating a rapidly growing market for elderly care robots, expected to grow from $3.7 billion in 2026 to $9.4 billion by 2033. DroidUp is entering this space with a $28.5 million investment. The company is not yet at the level of Figure or Optimus. It's still very early in its growth phase, but one thing is certain: they have reached a point where they are attracting serious attention. For 2026, their production target is between 2,000 and 5,000 units. The first batch of Moya, however, is much smaller, only 50 units. They are expected to be delivered by the end of 2026. So the situation is this: the market gap is real, the demand exists, but DroidUp is still a small-scale player, entering the market with its first serious commercial product while operating with a lower valuation, limited production capacity, and under the shadow of billion-dollar competitors. Just like in every video, let's now look at the problematic side of this robot. What do you think we'll find? Interestingly, even DroidUp's own CEO, Lee Ching-do, is cautious about the exaggerated promises in the industry. He says that most humanoid robot companies still haven't fully met real-world safety standards, and I assume that includes his own company as well. In an uncontrolled environment, he may not even know what could be behind that friendly smile. Even Fox News used the phrase "seriously unsettling" in its headline. The biggest point of debate is DroidUp's claim that Moya's walking style is 92% similar to a human's. But how exactly is that percentage measured? What methodology was used, and who verified it? That number suggests the robot walks almost exactly like a human, with only an 8% difference. But that doesn't seem to match what we actually see. When we watch the videos, we still know we're looking at a robot. Another important point: Moya is not yet a real product, it's a promise. The first batch is only 50 units, and deliveries are expected toward the end of 2026. So right now, what we have are promotional videos recorded in controlled environments and statements from the company itself. There is still no independent third-party testing or evaluation. And making a robot look warm, giving it a female appearance, and naming it Moya could also push the conversation in a more personal or intimate direction. Maintaining the right boundaries will be important. After learning everything about this robot, I have a question for you. If a humanoid robot looked into your eyes, smiled, and talked to you, would it make you feel safe, or would it make you uncomfortable instead? DroidUp's argument is this: people don't trust cold, mechanical machines. They trust something that feels warm and familiar. In a hospital, a care facility, or next to an elderly person living alone, this approach might actually work. But there is another side to the story. Making a robot look this human might not solve the real problem. It might only hide it. Because no matter how warm Moya feels, and no matter how deeply it looks into your eyes, it is still an AI, and no one knows yet how that AI will behave in the real world, especially in uncontrolled environments. Even if we succeed in making a non-human robot seem completely human, the real question is, are we actually ready for that? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and share. See you in the next video.